Radio Rahim with the alien here on Earth in New York. Bernard Hopkins turning up for a cracker of two fights. First of which, though, is a barn burner coming this Saturday. Now, we saw Berlanga and Oscar get into it. You're no stranger to crazy antics at press conferences, but what did you make of that one?
Well, I don't think it sold any tickets. I don't think it sold any pay-per-views. I'm repeating what was said already based on promoting the fight for people to be excited about a loaded card that everyone is mentioning, including yourself. I would say that I want the fans to stay focused on the matchups, the best fighting the best in every division in boxing. We need that. Any other thing that's contrary to that is a distraction. I don't think that WWE even will take it too far where they won't focus on the super matches that just happen to be in boxing more than one main event. But let me tell you this. First of all, I got my experience in Puerto Rico. There are my supporters, I am their supporters. And if you look at 1898, 1897, you will understand that you don't need a passport to
go to Puerto Rico. They're Americans.
Correct.
They're Americans.
But let me say it, and this ain't a shot at anybody, just saying, a lot of people have lack of knowledge, which means they are ignorant to certain things. At one time, not to that situation, I've been ignorant early in my life about certain things that I didn't know. So if you don't evolve as you get older and understand, then sometimes you would say things, or most of the times you would say things that you gotta sort of like backtrack or make up something else. But look, that's not the focus. The focus is that we have a card in New York City with Cepeda, who's with Golden Boy, and Shakur Stevenson, who's going to show why he is the Pernell Whitaker, the Meldrick Teller, the superstar of the last two generations, now in this generation of 2025. That's all that's what I want to see.
I know, but you have
and
to
then you got the main event, which is great.
He's calling it a distraction, but Oscar plays his role in this. Maybe they do sell tickets because when he gets up there, he got the biggest reaction out of any of the fighters.
But you got to understand, when I've got some too much of an old school. We had our career. We are over. I never seen people get excited about anything other than the main event and the fight card itself. And I think, personally, that's what people are paying tickets money to come to see a fight. Now, if that was a situation where they was fighting each other, I'd be all for it. But I had my run, 30 years of it. And I'm not, I might get into a debate, but not in the debate of public back and forth, hollering and screaming, but everybody has their style. Sometimes, look, you can't blame Oscar for all of anything. What you could say is, when we become evolved as far as intelligence, you will understand intelligence and understanding the experience that we had our time. We are promoters. I'm here to promote the show. I'm not here to scream and shout with a fighter. I got a fighter that I'm hoping to beat this guy. I'm gonna let him do the fighting. I'm gonna do the promoting. That's the difference between a teacher and a scholar. That's the difference between a professor and a doctor. You gotta understand that we got titles, man. And when you got titles, you stand by that title or you're a fraud.
Wait! We got a couple of more issues. We got some more issues.
I thought I was done with the fraud.
No.
I thought I was done with the fraud.
Okay.
I thought I was done with the fraud.
There's some issues in the backyard as well.
I don't know no issues. Your issues might not be my issues.
They're not my issues. They are Ryan Garcia's issues. And they are coming.
I'm not privileged to Ryan Garcia.
But we all are. We see it. You're you're the guy that they should be looking to as guidance.
But you got to understand, I am that person that will guide him to the promised land of self-discipline, courage, self-education, awareness about business in boxing, and also about the business of keeping yourself mentally and physically and spiritually inclined to be the best to perform in life and sports.
So where's
boxing.
Ryan in this?
So my whole thing is this. I know who I am, you know who I am. We're on the same alliances. I'm just coming from my perspective and you are reporting from yours. There's a war out here between good and bad. There is a war out here between knowledge and no knowledge. There is some who want to push for you to be ignorant and not understand and don't talk to me or don't ask me nothing. Or guess what? Let him disappear. But my personality and my love around the world that they have for me in the game of boxing and outside of boxing, like yourself, will not let that happen. See, when you are respected, which I am, every Hall of Famer and every fighter cannot sit here on this microphone and say that they are respected by the generation behind us and the generation that's coming before this generation. They know I'm respected now, later, and in the past. Every fighter, especially Hall of Famer, can't say they respected. See, I don't have a whole bunch of mess out there. I don't have a whole bunch of subterfuge and deceit out there. I don't have a bunch of bipolarism out there. So when you understand my receipts of my record and history and my character, man, you must be out of place if you speak about me wrong, because my fans, my supporters, people that I don't even know, people in other countries, they're going to be my defensive. The commercial of what I stand for and who I am, the fans in the world, around the world, will be my commercial. I can't fight every battle, and I would not try that. I'm too wise to do that. It's a losing battle. But when you have the worldwide fans defending you and you're not there, people that don't really like you or like your style and say, no, I can't say that about him, Radio Rahim. I can't co-sign that. And I'm not even there to listen and hear it. But I feel it and I know it happens every day that I'm alive.
I'm sure Ryan heard that one. That's the key. And one more. You know, you've got a rival out there of historic proportions in Roy Jones Jr. Both of you now are icons in the sport.
We're not rivals no more.
Historic and iconic proportions. The two of you are talked about in the same breath all the time. And now he's gotten into it with Floyd Mayweather Jr. I know you've seen it. And I talked to Roy yesterday, and he wants to fight. Not an exhibition, not an argument. He wants to fight. What is, first of all, your reaction to this conflict between Mayweather and Jones?
I'll watch it. I'll watch it.
You think Jones is right in what he says about Mayweather, that Sugar Ray would beat him, beat his dad? It's a generation that Floyd would not be considered TBE.
Everybody has their era, that fought in their era, that stood out in their era. I would say the best in their era deserve to be held up high like my era, the best in my era. And I leave it like that, Radio Rahim. For me to go into the fantasy, wasted conversation, to spend time and take up time, to me is totally a babbling idiot. I would rather talk about now, the present, the future.
Who wins if they fight now? You'll watch it. Who's your money on?
Who will win between Roy and Floyd?
Floyd today.
It all depends on who throw punches more.
You saw Floyd sitting in front of a screen watching Roy's knockouts on a reel. I mean, was that disrespect? Was that too far?
I think it was more of a show of a man vulnerability at that moment when Roy was fighting Tarver, I believe, or Glenn Johnson.
Yeah.
One thing that I've learned over the years, and I was a villain of it, to put a man down when he's down at his side or when he's down by a punch. I'll say that if you look at Roy Jones' defeats and you look at his longevity of victory and very unorthodox, unusual, probably never be again style that he had, I think that good of him in his era will always, and stands now, overshadows anything that went the opposite, means defeat. Roy Jones' rewards and his victories supersede 10 times than his defeats. That's the way I'll answer that.
If you had them both in a room listening to what you had to say, what would you say to Roy and Floyd right now?
Make sure you get paid if you fight.
Radio Rahim with the man who always gets paid when he fights, and I get paid when you talk. So I appreciate the time. Radio Rahim with the alien, Bernard Hopkins.
Respect, my man.
Respect.